Well, hello, you beautiful creatures of the internet. I had a rough idea of the kind of video that I wanted to make here today, but instead I'm just going to vent a little bit. And today I'm going to be talking about something that I've been struggling with for the past good long time, actually, and that would be fear. I have let fear consume me so badly. I live in fear quite a bit. Now, when I say that I live in fear, it's not like, oh, something scary happened and I'm afraid of everything now. No, it's not like that. It's like, you ever have something good in your life, or you ever do something that makes you really happy, or like you go out of your way to get better at something or to do something good, or you have somebody in your life that means the absolute world to you, and then out of nowhere, just one day, you're afraid of everything. You're afraid you're gonna lose that person. You're afraid that person's gonna hurt you. You're afraid that person's lying to you. You're afraid that you're gonna lose your friends, that your friends are manipulating you or talking about you behind your back, or you're afraid that your family's giving up on you or doesn't like you or care about you anymore. And you just get afraid. Or like if you're doing something that you really, really like and you took the time to get good at, you ever just get like afraid that one day all your efforts are useless, that all the motivation and discipline and time you put into it is just not worth it? Well, that's basically what I'm talking about, that kind of fear. It's like the overwhelming anxiety and overthinking of everything, and I'm going to explain my side of it. And if anybody can relate to it, firstly, I want to say I'm sorry that you can relate to feeling this way. And if you can, I really hope things get better for you if you can, because it sucks. It sucks really bad. And if you can relate, you'll understand what I'm talking about and why it sucks so bad. But when I was younger, I didn't really have a parental figure. I was always staying with extended family members like grandparents, aunts, uncles, and other people I just did not know in the family, like quite a lot. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a baby? I quite literally was handled by a fucking village. Like I had so many people, quote unquote, attached to our family watching me as a kid that I don't remember much of my like toddler years at all. And I know you're not really supposed to remember most of those years, but like I don't remember literally anything about them. Nothing. And there might be like 3 or 4 memories at best. And the reason I was never with my parents that much is because my parents were never together when I was born. I didn't know them together. I knew my father by himself with my stepmother, and I knew my mother with my sister's dad. And I was always with one or the other for at least a year, and then the other one for a summer, and then it would flip. And then I would be with the other one for a year, and then the other one for a summer. And so I would move around constantly, and I'd be in different schools constantly. I'd meet different people constantly, and I would be making all these friends. Now, as a kid, I didn't really care about holding on to friendships all too much, to be perfectly honest, because I wasn't very comprehensive of the idea. But as I got a little bit older, like I'd start saying more like in the, 6 to 8 years, not like 3 to 5. When I was about 6 to 8 years old, I started comprehending friendships a little bit more, just a little bit. And it was enough to where I would understand that the friends I was making, I was never going to see again when I finally had to move. And so all the close friends that I made over my entire childhood, I don't know any of them. I have not spoken to a single one of them in literal years, like almost 2 decades. And it's really sad to think of it that way, because that means as a kid, I didn't really have a parent to talk to when it came to going through something or dealing with something. Because firstly, like I said, my parents weren't together, and I always had to go back and forth between them. And not only did I have to go back and forth between them, but one of them was just never present, really. Like one of them was always working and then kind of out of it mentally due to certain things. And the other one was always constantly angry, and the other one was always constantly like in your face screaming and causing problems and like not letting you do anything ever. And so I never really got to experience a whole lot as a kid, and the stuff that I started to experience that started affecting me, I never got to talk about. And so as a kid, I turned to video games as what you would consider an escape. And I know a lot of people would say that, like, the fact that I can't remember most of my childhood is like the first sign of traumatic experiences that my brain is blocking out to protect me. That would be all fine and dandy if I didn't get upset at the fact that I never wanted that to happen. Like, I never wanted my brain to block out memories. Like, I want to remember all of my childhood, but I can't. Like, I couldn't tell you half of anything that happened in my childhood. And it's very rare that I, like, remember bits and pieces. And none of it was bad. It was just all over the place. And I just never really had I guess you could say that I really did dive into video games so much that most of my childhood isn't even in the real world. And it's sad to think about because that portrayed into my teenage years. I was very socially awkward because I never held friendships for too long, so I wasn't very good at talking to people. I was always that shy, quiet kid that sat in the back of the class that didn't really want to deal with people. And I didn't really care about being in social interactions. I wanted to be at home, like with my games and my music and stuff. And another thing that really fucked me up was every time I would get excited about something and get really good at something, I never had support for it. Like, I always got shut down for the things that I enjoyed. I always got shut down for the things I wanted to pursue. It was very rare that I got, like, recognition and support for the stuff that I wanted. And so I kind of developed this state of mind where if I'm not going to be able to hold relationships, I'm not going to get support for the things I like, then what's the point of opening up about my problems? Like, if I'm dealing with something drastic, what is the purpose? You know, I'm not going to get anything. So when I started delving into relationships and more consistent friendships, I started to self-sabotage quite a bit, and I started to ruin things out of spite, really. Like, I didn't care. And that was bad because when I was younger, a lot of good things were happening for me in my teenage years. I would have good relationships, good friendships, and I would meet cool, good people. And it was my fault that things went bad. And I took that as a lesson in a way, that the universe was like, hey, you were a piece of shit back then, so we're not going to let you have anything good now for the rest of your life. And you know why? Because as soon as I turned 18, 19 years old, I already knew at that age that I was ready to settle down and be happy and have good things. I didn't want to go out and party. I didn't want to go out and meet a million people. I didn't want to sleep around. I didn't want to do a bunch of drugs. I didn't want to get drunk all the time. It just wasn't for me. And the problem that I ran into is, after I lost the good things that I did have because of my own selfishness, my own greed, and my own instability, anything good that I would have after that was bad for me. I would get lied to, manipulated, cheated on, abandoned. I would have people, like, just straight leave me without word of warning. And I either questioned if it was something that I deserved or if it was my fault entirely. And I blamed myself for every bad thing that has ever happened to me after the age of 18. And I still to this day do that. And it's a problem now because I had a mental breakdown just last night, and that's kind of why I'm making this video. Because I, for the first time in a while, opened up to a friend of mine, telling them about all these things that I'm super afraid of and I'm struggling with a lot mentally, and how there's all these things that are eating me alive on the inside. And they spoke reality to me. They didn't sugarcoat the weird, over-the-top, cheesy lines that people think you want to hear to, you know, feel better. No, they told me the reality of everything, and it helped a lot. And it also made me realize that I was also being lied to a lot as a kid, that I never had people, like, cater to me realistically. They would always cater to me in a sugar-coated, like, childlike way. And it bothers me because at the age I'm at now, I have the mental and I have the mental maturity and the comprehension to know what I am afraid of and what's bothering me and the problems that I have. Like, I'm not a very trusting person. I'm a very close guarded person. Like, I protect myself a lot from getting hurt. I don't trust easily. I find it very difficult to trust people. I don't open up very easily. Like, I'm open, but I don't open up, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm open. Like, if you ask me what my favorite color is, what my favorite food is, what I'm doing, like, what my fucking social security number is, I'll probably tell you. But if you ask me, like, oh, what's that thing that made you think about jumping off the bridge, like 3 weeks ago, I probably wouldn't tell you that. Unless you're somebody, like, really, really close to me. And it's bad, because when I was talking to my friend and they spoke the reality of the situations to me and how they saw things, I was like, opening up and talking to a friend that claims they would be there for me for the first time actually helped. And I was like, I should maybe open up a little bit more often. I don't know if I will. I'm at that age where opening up is kind of pointless. Kind of, not really. Like, it's never pointless to open up. I should stress that. But I'm at an age where opening up as a man is not really all that beneficial or important. And people will tell you otherwise. They'll be like, oh no, it's always, beneficial for a man to open up. It's like, well, I've been shown otherwise. But I have good things in my life right now. Like, really good things. I have a good thing going with a partner. I have good things going with some friends. I have something decent going with me content-wise. I haven't done it in a while, and I would like to get back into it, but due to depression and emotional instability, I just haven't done this in a while. And again, this is probably not going to go anywhere. Not many people are going to see this probably, but I'm just afraid. I have allowed fear to control me. I have allowed anxiety to control me. I'm an overthinker. I have trust issues, and I want to be trusting and understanding and supportive and all that stuff, but it's really, really hard when I'm left in the dark all the time. It's really hard when my brain defaults to the self-protective way, and I wish it didn't happen. I really do, but unfortunately it's just how I am. And I know it sucks too, because I know what it's like to be on the other side of that. I know what it's like to be with somebody who never trusts you. I know what it's like to be with somebody or hang out with somebody who doesn't really, like, how am I trying to word this? Like they don't support you really. Like, they don't support you, they don't trust you, they don't believe you, or like, that kind of stuff. I know what it's like to be with somebody or around people like that. And it's really hard. It's really, really hard. And so I feel bad, and that's what makes it even more terrifying, right? Because, like, on one end, you know what it's like to be with somebody who isn't very trusting, isn't very understanding, isn't very supportive. But then at the same time, because you've been hurt like that, you are now like that, and you know how shit it is, but you're also like that at the exact same time. You know it's shit, but you're still like that. Because you've been through enough to kind of train your mind to work that way. And yeah, I'm so afraid of the good things I have right now to go bad because of my own stupidity or my own problems that I have people who care about me that could help me with. But like I said, when I'm left in the dark, or when I'm not told certain things, or when people don't open up to me about certain things, or if I'm just, out in the ocean alone, like, I don't know what to think or what to do. I'm an overthinker. It's just how I am, overly anxious and stuff. And there's this constant weight on my chest. It just appears. One day I could be laughing with friends, having a good time, and the next thing I know, I feel like there's a 500-ton weight on my chest, and it's really hard to breathe. It's really hard to think. It's really hard to do anything. And then I'm only thinking about the worst. And I wish I wasn't like that, but sadly I am. And I want to say at the beginning of this, I said, if you can relate to this, I do feel really, really bad. And I really wish that some people couldn't relate to this, because I know what it's like. But if you watched up to this point, I want to say thank you. And if you can relate, I am sorry. A good thing that I would recommend is actually open up. I know that seems to be like a piece of advice you hear a lot, and I would genuinely recommend it. And if you're one of those people like me who has a hard time opening up to people, like a really, really hard time doing it, or you just don't have anybody to open up to, I'm being dead ass serious when I say this. I do this sometimes and it does somewhat help. Talk to yourself. Like, just sit there and have a full conversation as if you're talking to somebody. I'm not kidding, it does help. Like, put on some music, stare at the wall, and have a conversation. You will feel so much better. I can't say that you'll 100% feel better, but I will say in the moment you'll feel a little bit better because you're getting it out, you're getting it open, you know, even if somebody's not listening. And I know that, like, it's really nice and good to have somebody there to listen, but some of us don't always have that, or we're not capable of doing that. And so just talk to yourself. And if you do need someone to talk to, I'll talk to you. Or if you do have someone to talk to, open up to that person. Or if you're having problems with somebody or something, just talk about it. But yeah, if you did watch up to this point, again, thank you, and I hope everybody's doing well. You are all amazing, and I hope everybody's having an amazing day. Stay safe, stay beautiful, and I'll catch you guys later. And thank you again for listening if you did.